Yo, what's up, baby? This is Bert Watson, and you're listening to Radio MMA, because this is what they do and why they do it, baby, all night long, because they rolling hard, fast, and on the money.
Okay, guys, and we're back, and let's bring in Zak. How's it going, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome stuff, man. So, just talk about the experience last summer of fighting over in Ireland.
Man, Ireland was absolutely amazing. I didn't know what to expect. Everybody said that, their fan base gets pretty crazy over there. And then from the second that I landed over in Ireland until the second I left was just one of the most coolest experiences I ever had in my life. I went over there, and I was, even though, Gunner's from, he's not from there, but he's basically adopted from them.
Sure.
So I went over there, and I had such a warm welcoming from everybody. I mean, they were very pleasing to be around and stuff. They were running out wanting, it's not really that they, a lot of people around the States, they want an autograph or something like that. Whenever they have people, they just really want to talk to you for a second to try and get to know you, and maybe a quick picture and stuff. But it was really cool, the differences. But Ireland was amazing. It's a beautiful country. I got to go spend some time around there after the fight a little bit, but I would go back in a heartbeat, and I really hope that I get to be on a feature card.
Do you have a preference to where you fight?
I really don't. One of the cool things about this sport is, it takes me places that I might not normally want to go and travel to,
sure,
and or think about going and stuff. And then, this sport's taken me to multiple different countries, places, and it's really opened my eyes up, and culture-wise and stuff. So it's been a great journey. I don't mind traveling. I don't mind fighting overseas. I don't mind, fighting right here, in the Midwest. So, anywhere is fine with me, as long as I can go in there and do what I love best and perform.
Okay, Zak, why the year-long layoff?
I had an injury happen in the Gunner fight, which kind of was one of the main reasons. Obviously, I'm not going to have any blaming or anything on taking a loss and stuff, but they had a big deal. A lot to do with it and everything. I fractured my orbital very badly, deep inside in the skull there. So everything superficial was fine, but it was really deep and it was blown out. I couldn't see it all.
Oh wow!
So it took it happened in one of the first punches he landed, but I thought I actually got poked in the eye, and then I realized it was a punch and stuff that happened, but it just kept getting worse and worse and worse throughout the fight. And I felt like I was controlling the fight. Felt that I had him figured out things to do, and then between the first and second round, I almost missed a stool actually.
Oh shit!
going back to the corner,
right.
And it just kept getting worse and worse. And I, even though what I was doing was working, I decided maybe if I should try to take him down or something, just keep a hold of him so I couldn't see. And then that was my fault to where I took a bad shot, and Gunner capitalized on it. And if you give him, any advantage in the grappling, he's going to take advantage of it. And he jumped right on it, and he did well, and, he finished the fight off my one stupid mistake. But, so anyways, that, the injury happened, and it took a while for it to, for me to get to some doctors and everything, because I didn't get checked out overseas. And then they realized how bad it was. So it took a little bit of time to get in to have surgery, because I had to go see some different specialists. So, I got it fixed, let it heal properly, get all recovered up, and then it kind of took, a little bit of time to start breaking it back in, allowing myself to get hit and make sure it's not going to bother anything and re-break and stuff. So now we're back. It's healed up, and we're excited to get back in there.
This weekend, we're talking UFC on Fox 16. You've got a new opponent here. How does that change things?
It doesn't change things too much. I'm not one of those guys that really worries about, what my opponent plans on doing to me. I'm going to go out there and, fight my fight, impose my will, and plan on going out and being victorious. I'm not going to, even though it's two complete different style of fighters, it's really not going to change the way I come at the fight and the way I approach things. So, I mean, it was definitely a different style, but it's not really going to change too much for me. It's still another highly trained professional coming out to to compete against me, and I just plan on using everything I've been working on and going out there and being the better person that day.
A few questions here. Dominique Steele, what sort of game does he impose on you? And also, it'll be his UFC debut, so will that give you a bit of an advantage coming into this fight?
I believe it could be it's able to be an advantage. I had 0 UFC jitters when I came in, so
Sure.
He's fought on Strikeforce, he's fought on Bellator, and he might be I guess able just to jump to the bigger stage and not bother him. So I'm not really sure on that one, and I'm coming off of a year layoff, but I've been in there multiple times. I've been on the big stage before, so I have wars in the gym every single day. So I'm not too worried about the ring rust and anything. So it could cause a factor, but I think for him, he's a grinder. He's gonna come in, try to land some big shots. He's gonna try to put some pressure on me. So I'm sure if he can try to take me down, he will. But he's one of those where from what I've gathered from him, I guess, he doesn't seem like he's much of a finisher. He doesn't really look to finish all the time. He just kind of looks to control and grind and wear on people and grind out the decisions. Which, I mean, if that's what you got to do to get the win, that's great. Go out there. But I train to finish people. I fight to be exciting. I want to try to give the fans a show and stuff, and just being just kind of grinding on people for decisions. It's not going to do it. So I've made it to the highest level in the world of the sport, and now it's just time to go out there and have fun and just put on a show for these people, and that's what I plan on doing. So I think he might be going in and trying to just get that first win out of the way and grind on me, but I plan on coming out and looking for finishes.
What's your opinion on all these changes by the athletic commissions? Tougher stance on drugs and no IVs after the weight cuts.
It's. I think it's all for the greater good. They're really trying to clean things up. Myself, I'm fine with they could drug test us every single day out of the year, and I'm okay with that. So it really doesn't bother me. I know a lot of people, have all kinds of connections, and they know how to play the system of, getting on cycles of certain things or whatever it is, and trying to make sure it's out of your system at the right time, and they're trying to time it right. And,
right.
It's just too exhausting for me even thinking about it. So I just,
Nice.
it's one of those where I know I'm physically strong for my size, and the IVs will probably bother me more. I cut a lot of weight and everything, but I really don't IV that much either. So I mean, I'm very, very confident in my nutritionist. Tyler Minton is absolutely amazing at what he does, and he comes in, takes care of me, gets my weight down, and he's really actually prefer me not to IV. He'd rather kind of everything natural going back in and stuff. So that's not going to affect any, me as well. There's other guys that don't have, nutritionists that come and help them out throughout the whole camp, or not the whole camp, but the end of it, and help with that last cut. So they kind of cut wrong, and they cut a lot of water drastically, and they really need that IV. But basically, it's kind of once you start learning how to do things the right way and the correct way, and it's really unnecessary. So I think it's in the sport's moving in the right direction, and eventually we'll get there and stuff. But there's always going to be people cutting corners, people trying to jump through hoops to get ahead. But I'm all for it.
Okay, man, give me a prediction on your fight. How will it finish?
Oh, a finish. That's a tough one. There will be a finish, I'll say that. I don't know if it's going to be a first round knockout or a second round submission, but I'll see it go in the third round, and and 2, I don't see me walking away with a loss. But I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm gonna be his first submission loss. We'll go with that one.
Now, a few weeks ago in Bellator, we had Ken Shamrock versus Kimbo Slice, and then a week ago we had Conor McGregor versus Chad Mendes. There was a lot of talk after these fights on Twitter, people claiming that fights were fixed. Do you think fights get fixed in the year 2015?
I want to be as naive as possible and say absolutely not. I love the sport, and I couldn't imagine an amount of money that would have me throw a fight.
Right.
You know, if I was, I don't know, if I was fighting for money, I guess I'd probably switch to boxing right now. I don't know. But,
right.
You know, I absolutely love the sport. You know, I've committed my whole life to it now, and knowing me the way the person I am, I just can't imagine someone coming to me and offering me money and to throw a fight. But not everybody has the same values, I guess. So I mean, I could see it happening, and I hate admitting it, but the Mendez fight I don't think was fixed. I mean, that was one thing. I believe that Mendez is, you know, I think he's one of those where he beats Conor normally on a normal camp. Sure. You know, on short notice, I was a little worried about it. You know, it's you know, someone might get a little tired. You know, he ate some hard body shots early in the first round, which really wore him out and wore on him, and then he had to kind of keep up with those scrambles. So I don't know. I don't think they are, but anything's possible. So I don't know. But like I said, I'm gonna stick with being naive and just say no.
Okay, man.
When it comes to the Bellator, I don't know. I don't know how they run things over there. So
sure.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, man. We'll leave that one alone. But anyone you'd like to thank or throw out your social media?
I mean, obviously my friends, my family, my wife, my mom, they're just absolutely amazing, and all the support that they give me and everything. You know, my gym, Gordy MMA and Fitness, and all my teammates and everything. That most of us had fights the last couple of weeks, and we've all kind of got to peak at the same time together and stuff. Nice. That's been great. That we all been pushing each other. You know, I've got some people that basically they're part of my fight camp, and it's without them, there's no way. I don't think I could still perform and compete at this level. But my chiropractor, Rennie Russell, is just phenomenal. You know, he holds me together whenever, every single day, I feel like my body's falling apart. So, yeah, without him, he's really just part of my fight camp now and stuff. So it's train and then go get treated. So it's kind of work. And then I've got, you know, the Melee Way, Tyler Minton. You know, his nutrition has really helped me out, kept me really comfortable with the to get down to 170. You know, I walk around very heavy, and to be able to have that cut stuff, and he's also worked along with a company called Warriors Fuel down here in Kansas City, that they use his diet and everything, all his methods to prepare all my food for me, which made everything just really simple. But all that, long story short, let's follow me on Instagram and Twitter, everything at Zak Cummings. And check out all those guys that I mentioned. They're all on social media as well. So you got Rennie Russell DC and the Melee Way and stuff. But that's basically all I got.
Thanks for giving us the time, and best of luck this weekend.